Well, SunExpress was founded nearly 30 years ago by Lufthansa and Turkish Airlines, so we've got two very strong mothers. And up to today, we're still a 50-50 joint venture. The basic idea of SunExpress 30 years ago was to help develop Antalya as a touristic destination. And the people back then figured that to develop sustainably a touristic destination, you also need an airline there to make sure that is based in the city, together with the hotel infrastructure, with the touristic infrastructure, to make sure that you've got enough access. This is why SunExpress was founded 30 years ago with one plane. Nowadays we have 70. We are the largest carrier between Germany and Bulgaria. We're by far the largest carrier between Germany, Austria, Switzerland and Turkey. We are the #1 to Egypt. So we're flying everywhere where people go to have fun in the sun and to relax. However, we're also catering big time for the Turkish domestic market. We're the #3 carrier to fly within Turkey. And we are bringing the Turkish community that's living in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and all the adjacent countries back home to their families. So we're very big into visiting friends and relatives.
And SunExpress is actually one of the largest employers in the Antalya region.
That's right. We're the #1 in Antalya, #1 airline in Antalya, #1 biggest. We're actually among the 40 biggest companies of Turkey in total.
So this is your typical customer then, a person who is traveling for fun, for a holiday during the summer, or both during the summer and the winter season?
Exactly, exactly. This is what we are good at. This is what we're doing. What we're trying to make people feel is that their holiday starts the moment that they board the aircraft. This is the feeling that our crew brings across. This is the way that our entire staff works. We try to have everybody enjoy the flight as much as possible.
But as a leisure carrier, there is obviously a leverage between summer and winter season, because summer is the high season for going for the summer on the beach, to the sea and so on. How about winter? How you leverage with your fleet of 60 strong aircraft?
What we do is, I think, threefold. The first thing is we try to help destinations that we're serving grow into full year destinations. So Antalya, for example, in the past used to have a season of maybe 2 to 3 months. Now we will see touristic influx in 9, 10 months of the year. And SunExpress is part of that because we provide cheap airfares to actually have the hotels accessible, which are open anyway. I think that's the one step. The second step that we're doing is that we are shifting very much on our network. So a destination that we might be serving in summer, we might not be serving in winter. If you look at our Egypt portfolio, for example, Egypt is a destination that works very, very nicely in winter, so are the Canary Islands. So we fly a lot of Fuerteventura in winter, we fly a lot of Sharm el-Sheikh, of Hurghada and Marsa Alam in Egypt in winter. And then we fly destinations like Varna more in summer. And the third piece is we're also a big wet lease provider. So when you board planes, especially in winter, of some other carriers, you might be actually served by SunExpress crew.
How you manage with the wet leases, having in mind that some of your aircraft are actually branded?
Yes.
Doesn't that bother the lease agents? Or no. These aircraft are usually not
this would not be
on
the
the lease market
that we're putting out for the wet lease. But no, we love the branding. We love our planes to be different, to stand out. It's supporting our brand, SunExpress. And as I said, we want to have our travelers have a smile on their face, and that's why we have those planes branded.
Does that bring significant ancillary revenue for the airlines? I mean, the marketing part.
The marketing part. Does it translate into ancillary revenue to some extent? We are starting, as we announced only last week, we will have a world-class in-flight entertainment in our planes. We already have the first planes rolled out. By the end of the year, we'll have the entire fleet covered. And obviously, a cooperation with Universal and Sony helps to bring the right content onto this platform.
This is the so-called Media in Motion platform, which is an innovative product, actually.
No, Media in Motion was our last partner, and they have ceased business.
Okay.
So now we're working with a startup from Barcelona called InFly, who are, if I may say so, revolutionizing the IFE market with their technical solutions. So to the outside world, to the customer, it looks like a very easy user interface. It's easy to use. It's got some very cool features, which we will not be introducing all from the beginning, but we're working on those. And
you're bringing this onto the user device.
Exactly. Everybody brings their own device.
Rather than at the seat of the aircraft.
Exactly. It's a question of necessity. Flying in this morning into Varna, I realized everybody was looking at their smartphones, at their iPads or tablets, PCs.
Yeah, of course, in usability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody's used to the design, right?
Let's say something about the fleet, because you have like 66 Boeing 737-800 aircraft,
yes,
next generation, but also a few wide-body aircraft. Where are those placed?
Our wide-body aircraft are exclusively used for the wet lease business. They are currently placed in Düsseldorf and in Munich, and they operate for Eurowings, long-haul business for Eurowings out of Munich and out of Düsseldorf. Our 737-800s, that's the backbone of our fleet. That's what we are using. We try to be as common in our fleet as possible. However, we're pretty excited that starting next year, we'll be adding to our fleet 737 MAX in Germany and in Turkey.
Does that mean that it doesn't make sense to use larger aircraft for leisure travel?
The question that you have to ask yourself as a low-cost airline, which we are, is sometimes you have to sacrifice extra revenue for simplicity. So overall, the business case has to work. And if I look at the operational problems, the financial problems that many of our competitors currently have, I'm very glad to have a similar standardized fleet, high interaction, high interchangeability, easy to help out in case of trouble, and it just makes it very reliable also for our passengers. That's what they like.
Also, the airline is on the leading edge of innovation. You already mentioned the IFE products that you feature in the cabin. How about anything else in that field?
Well, the basic for it all is an open and innovative IT infrastructure. So you need to have the right systems in place. And
is that your own system, or it's a third-party one?
That's across the entire company. What we've done, IATA, the Global Airline Association, has made a blueprint for an innovative airline architecture, especially in the distribution field. They call it NDC, New Distribution Capabilities. Yeah. SunExpress was one of the first airlines worldwide to get the full Level 3 certification. We are in the NDC Leadership Board. That's just one example, but maybe that's not very tasty. Tasty example, we were one of the first airlines to be fully available on WhatsApp. We will be launching sales on Facebook soon. That's a question of just a few days. And we have a lot of projects going on with small startups from all over the world to still enhance our customer experience on board and on the ground.
So you need to be whenever the customers are.
And I think that's the big difference between SunExpress and many other carriers, because as we are a touristic airline, we work very, very closely with large tour operators. Every 6 months, basically, when we start planning the next season, now we're starting to plan the next summer, we're actually sitting down with our largest customers and we say, where do you want us to fly? And then we develop our network planning from that. So you can call us the Uber of the air, because we only fly where the customer wants to go.
What is the average share of passengers who book directly with the airline, online, for example, and those who book through agents and travel agencies?
What we can say is that our tour operator business, so anything that comes in via classical tour operators, accounts for approximately 60% of the total revenue. And then we have 40% that might be coming in online through our own website or through online agencies.
What about the operations in Bulgaria? What can we expect in the near term, but also in the longer run?
Well, we started operations in 2015. And when we saw that it would work, we nearly tripled the operation in 2016. We added another, I think, 25%, 29% between 16 and 17, and we still upped it again for 2018. We're currently flying 19 weekly flights from 9 German airports into Varna alone, plus the whole program that we have in Burgas. We are the #1. And whatever comes, we want to defeat that position.
Any plans for expansion further here in Varna or in Burgas, or why not in Sofia during the winter?
Our focus is a touristic focus. So bringing tourists into Sofia in winter is a business that I would find rather challenging for our business model currently.
Oh, it's because of the winter resorts that we have around Sofia, and many carriers are using the airport.
That's right, that's right. For Varna and Burgas, as I said, let's see how the market develops. Whatever comes, we want to maintain our market share. If that means growing, then we will grow.
And lastly, but not least, your partnership with MTV and with the event. How you turned out to be one of the major partners in that initiative.
You see me smile. I'm very excited about this partnership. I came here 1 year ago, and we had a big workshop with the entire tourism industry in Varna. hoteliers, incoming agencies, tour operators, everybody at the table. And we discussed what can we do to actually make Varna tourism more sustainable, have a long-term future for this. And one of the things that we came up with is we need to make sure that the brand Varna becomes better known to the entire world. Varna, from the beauty of its beaches, the friendliness of its people, from the quality of the hotels, is in one league with some of the major tourist destinations.
Actually, the whole area around the city. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But maybe not everybody knows that should know. So we came up with an entire plan what we should be doing. You see how we upped our flights from last year to this year to show our commitment. And this is part of that commitment. We need Varna to be a stable, sustainable, long-term destination for SunExpress, and we do whatever it takes to make sure that this is working well.
So perhaps sooner or later we'll see an aircraft which is branded as the one that we saw outside, the green one, Istanbul Express, but we see one with Varna Express on it.
Why not? We have the El Guna shuttle for the El Guna destination in Egypt with a city map, so the tourists actually stand outside and take pictures and take those pictures home. It would be great to work together with Varna Tourism to see whether we can do this.
Yeah, because we have a lot to show off to the world as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.